Free your mind.
Welcome to Free Your Mind, a series for students by students. Today we'll be exploring suicide. Are you in the danger zone? My name is Charlotte Melton. I am from the Mental Health Association of Central Florida. I've worked there for 4 years, and I've worked to maintain my own mental health since I was 13. Today we have with us Daniela, Marjorie, Philip, Breslin, Regia, and Sarah. Thank you guys for coming out to Free Your Mind. This is the first of what we see to be a growing project. Upcoming, you will see cyberbullying. If you're interested in participating in that episode or any other future episodes, please reach out to your media instructor, your SAFE coordinator, or any of these fine, lovely people up here today. I'm going to have you guys share with me a bit, ask me a few questions that either you or your fellow students may want to know. First, is stress something you guys have to deal with?
Yes, of course.
What stresses you out?
College applications, school,
Tests,
Work, parents,
yes.
pressure. Okay.
Friends.
Stress is one of the many factors that leads us to suicide, the danger zone. Nasha, you told me a story about your friend's stress.
Yeah, stress is in all our lives, and everyone says, "Oh, we all have it," but no one really sees it or knows about it until you see it.
Yeah, sometimes it takes seeing it to believe it, but we don't think it always happens all around us, but it is. It takes lives every year at a rate higher than murder and HIV. It isn't all around us. You think that, but it really is.
I know everyone thinks about it at some point of their lives, but is suicide really that common?
Thankfully, we know that more people think about it and attempt than actually complete the act, but yes, suicide is all around us. Just last year, 231 of your fellow students died of suicide. That's one every school day at least, and then a few on the weekends. 26.3% of your fellow classmates, 1 in 4 of you, 1 in 4 of you are in the danger zone. But, Regia, there is hope. Suicide is a preventable death if intervention is possible.
How can certain teens get away from suicidal thoughts? Could being in a close knit, like being united, help them out more?
Absolutely. The feeling of connection within a group can really help us feel like we belong. But as you say, it can be difficult if you feel isolated from the larger cliques at school. The connection that makes us feel safe and can be life-saving doesn't have to be a large group. It can be a single person. One person that reminds us that we're strong, that we belong, and that support is available. I charge you all out there to be that friend for someone, to remind them that they're not alone out there.
Yeah, someone I know felt that pressure to fit in. How do you know someone is in the danger zone?
Well, the pressures to fit in, stress, and other things can lead to suicide. They don't always lead to suicide, but there are few suicides without at least one of those factors. Some of the signs of suicide are isolation, depression, loss of grief of any sort, a breakup in the family, a breakup with your boyfriend or your girlfriend, for a sexual experience, sexual assault, violence, anything that's really changed and isolated you in your life or made some mood changes coming about. So if you notice a difference in somebody, especially ideas of a final thought or a plan, those are some signs.
I do what I can to make moments funny, to cope with everything. Something we don't talk about is how young suicide can occur. What can my friends do?
You're right, we don't talk about it enough. We need to talk about it more. You guys need to talk about it more. And that's actually what you can do. One of our steps is to talk about it. So I'm going to give you guys a few options, a few connections that you can make to take that first step. So I encourage you, anyone out there who's having suicidal thoughts, to reach out to one of the following pathways. Talking is that first step. 24 hours a day, you can reach 211. And as I was sharing with other people, it can be about a breakup or a bad day. Anyone's there to listen to you. There's an organization called I'mAlive.org, which is the first virtual suicide response. There's hearing impaired options, suicide hotlines. And please don't forget about your friends, your parents, your friends' parents. Get out there and talk to somebody, because it's okay to get help.
If someone comes to me and I think they're in the danger zone, what do I do? Where do I go?
Well, there are a few steps to take. I'll give you a simple pathway of what to know. First, those numbers we just gave you, other pathways are the right steps to take. So if you're worrying about someone or you yourself have those thoughts, reach out to those pathways. Otherwise, here are a few steps to follow. 1, listen to them. 2, take them seriously. It's hard to ask for help. So 3, I want you to reward them for their bravery. And 4, go with them to get help. If it's hard for them to ask for help in that first place, you're going to really encourage them to go get more. So if someone has a plan to end their lives, please ask for help. Now, someone has a plan and a means to complete that plan. We are now in the danger zone. And the danger zone is when someone's life is at risk. So you guys can take action. You can call 911 and ask for a Baker Act.
Can you explain the Baker Act?
That's such a great question. I don't imagine a lot of people know what the Baker Act is, but in the state of Florida, the Baker Act, or the Florida Mental Health Act, allows us to intervene when someone intends to harm themselves or others. So if you know that someone wants to hurt themselves, you can call 911 and you can actually get them to a hospital for help. So you're not actually arresting your friend, you're calling 911 with all of the details of what's going on, their location, and their name, so that an officer can go out and hopefully make that life-saving intervention to keep them from being someone you mourn and help them be someone you can celebrate. So it is a scary thing to do, but a life-saving step for one of your friends. So it's just to call the 911. Always think that suicide is around you, but it's happened to me. I attempted suicide twice when I was your age. And of course, parents freaked out. It was due to a lot of pressures, things that were happening in my life, and I felt powerless. I didn't know what to do. Went to go get help, and actually that help told me that I was a normal teenager, to go home and get over it. So what you guys are saying about our impressions of suicide and our thoughts of whether it's happening or not are right. Even the professional I sought help from thought that it was normal for teenagers to feel like this, and it's not. If you are thinking of death, having thoughts of suicide, if you've got a plan for it, it's okay to get help. There are things you can do, and that's what this series and the rest of these episodes are going to be about, is making sure that it's easy to access help and that we know what's going on. So other than me, let's see if there are other stories, other people we know who have committed suicide. I mean, there's celebrities out there.
Yeah, for example, Demi Lovato, she went through the hardships of suicide, and that's a teen idol that many of us look up to. And seeing her cope with suicide and being able to express her thoughts and emotions through her music was really inspiring to a lot of people.
Yeah, for example, her song Skyscraper is a symbolism of her being able to overcome it, and it is possible. So.
And that's what we need to talk about, is that light.
Yeah, and also I read about somewhere how she tattooed her wrist to stop from cutting. So it really helped her out to overcome that.
Oh my goodness. Now there's also a movement called Write Love on Your Arms, which talks about those who have attempted or experienced cutting to write love on their arms in the form of tattoos. Even Amanda Todd's father is going to get the memory of her, who did recently pass from suicide. They were planning on getting strength tattoos, and he's going to do that as a reminder. So it's actually a powerful coping mechanisms that some people do. And there's some others out there. We've lost, who was it?
Marilyn Monroe.
Oh, yes.
They categorize her, like you told me, that they categorize her as an accidental death, but I don't really think it was, because I was watching this documentary and she was dealing with a lot of stuff, and the people around her, they're like, oh, in hindsight, she was going up to it.
Hindsight is 20/20. When we look back on things, can identify more if someone was in trouble, and that unintentional death is a popular thing. When you look at the statistics for suicide, the number above that is unintentional death, which are often suicides that weren't categorized as suicide. I don't know how many family members really want to say that about someone who has passed, and it also affects insurance and benefits for some people. Also, anyone missing Heath Ledger?
Definitely.
Things that we miss. And who knows what he was really going through and what steps he took to get that help. There are articles about it and reaching through his journey, but you're not a no name. Even large names like this handsome gentleman can suffer greatly from life. And we've lost other people. The age 27 is difficult for a lot of rock stars. Kurt Cobain, Amy Winehouse and her challenges. So it's around us. It really is. And you guys, how many here have known someone who's had thoughts of suicide? Any hands? No people who thought about it? That lines with our 1 in 4 statistic, guys. 1 in 4 of us are near the danger zone. I want to thank you guys all for coming out today to Free Your Mind. It has been one of the first of, as I said before, a growing initiative. We invite you and your fellow classmates to join us in future episodes and to ask any questions about participating in the future. That means you guys out there watching us now. I'm Charlotte Melton, and you have been watching a segment on suicide, the danger zone. It is, guys. It's cool.
It's cool.
It's cool.
It's cool.
It's cool.
It's cool. It's cool.
To free your mind.